How's everyone doing? So let's take a look at the new Metal Build Crossbone Gundam X-3 and let's see why it's totally worth getting. I think Bandai did a really good job with all of these Metal Build designs. I mean, look great, the proportions are nice, the finishes looks really good. They all have really fun gimmicks included. With each Crossbone Gundam, instead of just palette swapping and changing the colors, they went out their ways and designed each one of them and added a lot of values into each. So you're not just getting a color swap Crossbone Gundam. In each version, they all have extra stuff added to it to make them worth getting in each version. So different weapon, different gimmicks. So for example, X1 has the parrot and the cloak, and X2 has the long rifle and the lens, and of course full cloth packed with a bunch of gimmicks and weapons. They did not slack off on X3. Looking at this, it's just so nice. The 3 on the forehead, the skull similar to what you have in the full cloth. It does show the Vulcan cannon coming out of the eye sockets of the skull. An I feel generator in the hands, which is very special in Crossbone Gundam X3. And wow, it does come with a hook shield, which was in Master Grade. It was being released in a completely different kit. It's a good idea to do that. So if they wanted to create patchwork, they could with the Metal Build. Muram Masa Blaster. I believe this is exactly the same as the one in full cloth. It has a transformation mechanism. Yeah, the sword mode and the beam gun mode. I mean, this is just a really cool pose. I feel generator. The hand just looks way better. So it's just a way better hand than the Master Grade. It just looks more natural. The hook and scissor shield. So instead of just a hook shield, this is a new design by Yuichi Hatsukawa. They added a new gimmick to it. When you're turning 180, it's got a scissor in the back. It adds a new dimension to it, and I think it's a nice touch. The hook has a little chain attached to it, and then scissor mode. Of course, the screw whip, the buster gun, and beam samber. I don't know what zamber is. Somebody tell me. I mean, these are just basic weaponry in most of the Crossbone Gundam. Of course, the basic gimmicks of buster gun combined with the beam zamber to Zambasta, scissor anchor, he dagger. So yeah, so all these are just the basic weapons. The Allegorella. I think this is a huge sell point, and I really love it. I really love what they're doing now. Like Bandai started adding diorama and effect parts into toys. Adds a totally different dimensions in my opinion. It's just way more fun. So Ebikawa is designing the Allegoretta. Apparently back in '96, there was a contest to design the enemy mobile suit for the Crossbone Gundam X3. Ebikawa entered the contest and won. Now they brought him back years later, now that he's a way more famous designer. They let him redesign the Allegoretta. It's a fun idea. Even though it's just an effect part, look how much thoughts and time they went into designing this effect part or the diorama part. It's not a full model kit, it's just an additional part. It's actually part of the stand. But look at this. The head can open up and then you have a cockpit similar to like Rick Diaz or Sazabi, the sphere cockpit that's in the head. That's so much fun. I love it. I just love how they decided to add in these kind of stuff. Probably has very limited mobility. It looks like the eye cannot move around. Look how great the damage part is. How well made the damage is. I personally really love this pose. Just the way it's standing on it and the way it's backing away, holding the cockpit. Gimmicks. This is another gimmick for block system. Face open. In summary, I mean, wow, like amazing. I think amazing. I think this is really a lot of fun. I thought probably X3 would have been the least popular of all the Crossbone Gundam, but they really did a good job adding a lot of value. It's the Muram Masa, sure, I mean, it's the same one from full cloth, but it looks great with X3. X3 was the first one to hold the Muram Masa blaster. And the I feel generator, the hands looks way better than Master Grade. So Master Grade, because they had to account it for the mold, the hands, it just doesn't look that great. They added the hook shield, which instead of having a complete separate release of a patchwork, they just added into X3, which I think it makes sense. Like why release a completely different patchwork version when you can just add it into X3? On top of that, the hook shield has a new gimmick that's introduced into this release. So you have a scissor on the back and the hook on the other end. Fun little addition to it. Yeah, it's all the weapons of the X1, the screw whip, and look at all the details on the whip itself. And I think the most fun part, I haven't seen it anywhere else. Maybe in Master Grade F91. I love this. Allegorella is similar to what they did in the old Master Grade F91. They have the Rafflesia as the stand. I think they should keep doing it. I mean, the Rafflesia as the stand was really cool. in the OF91, which I think they're redoing in a P Bandai extra finish for version 2.0. And I just think it's a really good idea, and it's just so much fun, and added a different dimension, added a lot of play value to some of these toys. And I think they're having a lot of fun designing these toys, the Metal Build. Really cool. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think this is really worth getting. Totally worth getting. Seeing how much thoughts and additional design they put into each one of these Crossbone Gundam. I'm really looking forward to the future releases. Perhaps the Crossbone Gundam X0, Phantom, or Ghost. I really want to see what else they do with some of those newer Metal Build. I think they'll keep releasing Metal Builds of Crossbone Gundam, and I'm really looking forward to what they do. Yeah, very exciting. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if you guys want to see some of the stuff I'm working on the side. I'll see you guys next time.